The sun hasn't fully broken over the mountains yet. The lake is mirror flat, reflecting pines and sky like glass. Mist curls off the water in ghostly ribbons. I'm standing on my dock, bare feet on the weathered wood my grandfather nailed down in 1962. Coffee steams in my hand. This is peace. This is home. Then I hear it. Heels. Clicking. Fast and sharp on wooden planks. I turn. She's already halfway down my dock. HOA President Monica Bradshaw. Mid-40s, razor-cut blonde hair, hot pink pantsuit that screams power and money. But she's not alone. 3 men in matching black polos fan out behind her. HOA enforcement patches on their chests. My stomach drops like a stone into cold water. This ends today. Her voice cuts through the morning silence like a blade. She's in my face now. Close enough I can smell her perfume. Expensive, sharp, threatening. She waves papers an inch from my nose. Legal documents. Official seals. My name in bold letters at the top. This dock violates setback regulations, she snaps. You have 48 hours to remove it completely, or we're filing liens against your property. My mouth goes dry. Wait, this dock has been here for 60 years. My grandfather. Grandfather? She laughs. Cold. Cruel. Try again. We pulled county records. Your property wasn't officially surveyed until 1985. That puts you under full HOA jurisdiction. No exceptions. She shoves the papers into my chest. I catch them, hands shaking, trying to read the dense legal language. Clause numbers. Violation codes. Penalty amounts that make my vision blur. One of her enforcers steps onto my dock without asking. Heavy boots on the wood my grandfather's hands touched. Ma'am, we need to document all violations. His camera comes up, starts clicking. Get off my property, I say. My voice sounds weak even to my own ears. Monica's smile spreads wider. Venomous. We have easement rights. It's in your covenant. Clause 47B. HOA access to all waterfront properties for environmental compliance checks. She tilts her head like a snake studying prey. You did read your covenant, didn't you? I can't breathe. When did this happen? How did I miss this? The enforcers spread out, photographing everything. My dock. My boat tied to the cleats. My cabin windows. One guy's measuring the dock width with a laser device. Another's taking notes on a tablet. They move with practiced efficiency. They've done this before. 48 hours, Monica says again. Her heels click as she turns away. After that, we file a lien for $127,000 in accumulated violations and enforcement costs. The auction will be scheduled immediately. She pauses at the end of my dock, looking back over her shoulder. I'd start packing if I were you. They leave like a storm passing. Engines starting in the parking area. Gravel crunching under tires. Then silence. I stand alone on my grandfather's dock. The coffee in my hand has gone cold. The lake doesn't look peaceful anymore. It looks like a trap. And I'm caught in it. 48 hours. My family's legacy. My grandfather's life work. Everything. Gone. I don't sleep. Can't sleep. My mind won't stop spinning. $127,000. 48 hours. Auction. Those words loop endlessly like a nightmare I can't wake from. At midnight, I'm sitting in my grandfather's study. The old roll-top desk still smells like his pipe tobacco and cedar. I start pulling out files from the metal cabinet in the corner. It's stuffed with decades of documents, yellowed papers, faded photographs, letters in his careful handwriting. I search like a drowning man reaching for air. Birth certificates, tax returns from the 1970s, receipts for lumber and nails. But nothing about property boundaries. Nothing about HOA exemptions. My hands shake as I dig deeper. At 3 a.m., I find it. Bottom drawer, tucked behind a stack of fishing magazines. A large envelope marked Property, Original Documents. I tear it open. Inside is a hand-drawn survey from 1962. Professional grade. Compass bearings. Measurements in chains and rods. My grandfather's signature at the bottom in fountain pen. County clerk stamp. Official seal pressed into the paper like a fossil. And here's the detail that stops my heart. The property line extends 40 feet further into the lake than any modern survey shows. According to this original document, my dock isn't just grandfathered. It's completely within my legal boundaries. Not even close to any setback violation. The HOA has been lying. But there's more. Behind the survey, folded into thirds, is a letter dated October 1998. Letterhead reads, Lakeside HOA Board of Directors. I unfold it with trembling fingers. Dear Mr. Whitlock, this letter serves as official confirmation that your property, including all existing structures built prior to 1978, shall remain permanently exempt from waterfront regulations and setback requirements. This exemption is granted in recognition of historical boundaries and pre-existing construction rights. Signed, Harold Patterson, HOA Board President. Notarized. Official. Binding. Monica either doesn't know this exists, or she's gambling I don't. My phone buzzes on the desk. Text message. Frank, my neighbor 2 properties down. Monica's crew just showed up at my place. 6 a.m. Measuring everything. They said you're next on the compliance list. Watch your back, man. I photograph every document with my phone. The survey, the exemption letter, the original deed. My fingers are clumsy with adrenaline, but I get clear images. I upload them to 3 different cloud services. Email copies to myself. Then I sit back and think. Monica didn't just target me randomly. This is too organized, too aggressive, too fast. She's been HOA president for 3 years. Why come after a 60-year-old doc now? What's her real game? I check my watch. 4:17 a.m. The county clerk's office opens at 8. I need to see every HOA filing from the past 5 years. Every rule change. Every lien. Every auction. I grab my jacket and keys. If Monica wants a fight, she's going to get one. But first, I need to understand exactly what I'm fighting. The county clerk's office smells like old paper and floor polish. Mrs. Henderson has worked here for 30 years. She knew my grandfather. Watch me grow up. Need to pull some HOA records. I tell her. She doesn't ask questions. Just types into her computer and disappears into the records room. Returns 10 minutes later with 3 banker's boxes. Everything filed by Lakeside HOA in the past 5 years, she says. Take your time. I spread documents across the research table. Start reading. My coffee goes cold as I dig through meeting minutes, rule changes, enforcement actions. Then I find it. 3 years ago, right when Monica became president, a rule change was pushed through. The language is buried in subsection 12D of the enforcement policy. Any property found in repeated noncompliance may be subject to lien placement. Properties with unpaid liens exceeding $25,000 may be auctioned to interested parties to recover HOA operational costs and penalties. My blood runs cold. I flip to the auction records. 7 properties in 3 years. All lakefront. All beautiful. All sold at auction for fractions of their value. 184, Lakeview Drive. Market value $1.2 million. Sold for $43,000 in back dues. 297, Shoreline Road. Market value $980,000. Sold for $38,000. 156 Waterfront Circle. Market value $1.5 million. Sold for $67,000. The pattern is obscene. But here's what makes my hands shake. I cross-reference the buyers. Every single property was purchased by an LLC. Different names, different registration dates. But when I dig into the state business filings, one name appears on multiple companies. Bradshaw Development Group. Monica's husband. They're not enforcing rules. They're running a criminal enterprise. Target longtime property owners with manufactured violations. Bury them in legal fees and penalties. Force them to sell or lose everything through foreclosure auctions. Then buy the properties through shell companies and flip them for millions. I calculate the numbers. The 7 properties they've seized had a combined market value of over $8 million. They paid less than $400,000 total through the auction process. Profit margin, astronomical. And my property, 200 feet of prime lakefront, pristine cabin, mountain views, would be their crown jewel. Mrs. Henderson leans over my shoulder. Finding what you need. I can barely speak. Just nod. I photograph every document. The rule changes. The auction records. The LLC registrations. The property transfers. My phone's storage fills up fast. Then I see the next filing. It's dated tomorrow. A lien notice. Already prepared. Pre-printed. Against my property. Amount. $127,000 in accumulated violations, enforcement costs, and administrative penalties. The auction date is already scheduled. 2 weeks from Friday. They've been planning this for months. Maybe longer. Everything Monica did yesterday, showing up with her crew, the 48-hour deadline, the aggressive posturing, it was theater. The real decisions were already made. My family's legacy, my grandfather's life work, my home, scheduled to be stolen in 14 days. Unless I stop them. I gather every document. Thank Mrs. Henderson. Walk outside into harsh sunlight. I know exactly what I'm facing now, and I know exactly how to fight back. I drive straight to my lawyer's office. David Morrison has handled my family's legal affairs for 15 years. Trust and land transfers. Will execution when my grandfather passed. He's in his mid-50s, silver hair, three-piece suit, even in summer. I dump the documents on his mahogany desk like evidence at a crime scene. He reads in silence. Flips pages. His jaw tightens with every paragraph. The only sound is paper rustling and the wall clock ticking. 5 minutes pass. Then 10. Finally he looks up. His expression is granite. This is fraud, he says quietly. Criminal fraud. RICO predicate offenses. Conspiracy. Wire fraud if they used email or phones to coordinate. You could take this straight to the FBI. That takes months, I say. The auction's in 2 weeks. I need to stop this now. David leans back in his leather chair. Steeples his fingers. Thinking. We file an emergency injunction. Tonight. Challenge the lien's validity. Present your exemption documents and the 1962 survey. We'll request a hearing with Judge Reynolds. He handles property disputes. And he absolutely despises HOA overreach. Hope flickers in my chest. What are our chances? Good. Maybe very good. But Monica will fight back with everything she has. We work until midnight. David drafts the injunction. I provide statements, evidence, documentation. We build the case piece by piece. By the time we finish, we have 40 pages of legal argument backed by original surveys, exemption letters, and proof of HOA fraud. But I'm not done. At 1 a.m., I make copies of everything. The shell companies, the auction records, Monica's husband's involvement, the pattern of property seizures. I create a complete folder. Detailed, damning, irrefutable. Then I drive to the local newspaper office. The building's dark. I slide the folder under the front door with a typed note. HOA president running criminal land grab scheme. Full evidence enclosed. Victims willing to talk on record. The moon's high when I finally head home. My headlights cut through mountain darkness. I should be exhausted. Instead, I'm wired. Alert. Ready. Next morning I'm back at my cabin by 8 a.m. I make coffee. Wait. Monica's crew arrives at 9 sharp. Right on schedule. 2 vehicles. The same 3 enforcers from yesterday. And Monica, stepping out wearing a cerise pink power suit and oversized sunglasses like she's attending a resort board meeting. But this time I'm ready. I'm standing on my dock with my shotgun cradled in my arms. Not pointed at anyone. Just present. Legal. This is private property in an open carry state. I have every right. Monica freezes when she sees me. Her sunglasses come off slowly. You can't threaten us with weapons, she says. But her voice wavers. I smile. Calm. Controlled. Threaten? This is just for bear protection. We get them around the lake sometimes. You never know what kind of predators might wander onto private property uninvited. Her jaw clenches so hard I can see the muscle jump. One of her enforcers takes a step backward. Monica's perfect composure cracks, just slightly. And I know I've won this round. Monica doesn't leave. She plants herself at the end of my dock. Heels together. Arms crossed. The morning sun glints off her cerise blazer like armor plating. Her enforcers spread out behind her, nervous, uncertain, watching my shotgun. You think you're clever, she says. Ice in every syllable. Some kind of hero standing up to the big bad HOA. But you're just delaying the inevitable. That lien is filed. The auction is scheduled. County records don't lie. You'll lose everything. I stay calm. Keep my voice level. Funny thing about liens. They require valid violations. Had my property professionally surveyed yesterday. Turns out my dock is completely within legal boundaries. Actually, I pause for effect. The HOA's boundary markers are 40 feet onto MY property, which means you've been trespassing for years. Her face flushes red. That's impossible. We have official surveys from the county. From 1985. I have surveys from 1962, when my grandfather built this place. 23 years before your HOA even existed. I pull out my phone. Show her the photographs of the original documents. Plus, I have written exemption from your own board. 1998, signed and notarized. Want to see it? One of her enforcers leans in. whispers something urgent in her ear. She waves him off angrily, but I see doubt creeping into her eyes. This isn't going according to her script. My lawyer filed an emergency injunction this morning. I continue. Judge Reynolds will hear our case tomorrow afternoon. You know Judge Reynolds, right? The one who's thrown out 4 HOA cases in the last 2 years for overreach. Monica's composure is cracking. Her hands clench into fists. This isn't over. We have resources you can't imagine. Legal teams, political connections, money, and I have evidence of fraud. I say it quietly. Let the words hang in the mountain air. Shell companies, auction manipulation, your husband's development group buying seized properties for pennies on the dollar. 7 properties in 3 years. 8 million in stolen equity. Her face goes from red to ashen in seconds. The newspaper's probably reading through it all right now. I add. Detailed records. Victim statements. LLC registrations with your husband's name all over them. You wouldn't dare. Her voice is barely a whisper. Already did. Dropped the entire file at their office last night. For 3 heartbeats, nobody moves. The lake laps quietly against dock posts. A bird calls from the pines. Monica stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time. Then she spins on her heel. Let's go. She snaps at her crew. They scramble back to their vehicles. Engines roar to life. Gravel sprays as they tear out of the parking area. I watch them disappear down the mountain road. My hands are shaking now. Adrenaline crash hitting hard. But I stay on my dock. Shotgun still cradled. Just in case. Because I know Monica. And wounded predators are the most dangerous kind. That night someone slashes all 4 tires on my truck. I discover it at 7 a.m. when I head out for supplies. The truck's sitting low, rubber shredded in deliberate cuts. Not random vandalism. Professional work. Clean slashes through the sidewalls. All 4 tires. Over $800 in damage. Coincidence? Not a chance. I call the sheriff's office. Deputy Carson shows up an hour later. Young guy, early 30s, bored expression. He walks around my truck, takes a few photos with his phone, writes nothing in his notebook. Probably kids, he says, shrugging. You know how it is. Mountain kids get bored. Kids don't slash 4 tires in a pattern, I say. This was targeted. He gives me a look. You want to file a report? You can. But without cameras or witnesses. He trails off. Doesn't finish the sentence. I file the report anyway. Make him write it all down. But I already know nothing will come of it. Deputy Carson's wife sits on the HOA Architectural Committee. This town's too small. Too connected. I'm on my own. Next morning I wake to orange spray paint across my cabin's front door. Huge letters, dripping. Comply or leave. My security camera caught nothing. Someone disabled it. Cut the power line. These aren't amateurs. I'm not dealing with an HOA anymore. I'm dealing with criminals. But here's what they don't know. I've been documenting everything. Every threat. Every act of vandalism. Every trespassing incident. Timestamps. Photographs. I've backed everything up to the cloud. Built a timeline of harassment. And I've reached out to other victims. There are 12 property owners Monica targeted over the past 3 years. Most gave up, sold under pressure, or lost everything in the auctions. But 3 agreed to talk. 3 willing to testify about what she did to them. Judge Reynolds' courtroom is packed when we arrive. Monica sits at the defendant's table surrounded by 4 lawyers in expensive suits. They're wearing $1,000 watches, carrying leather briefcases. They look like corporate raiders, not HOA attorneys. I've got David and a folder of documents. The judge enters. Everyone stands. Judge Reynolds is 70-something, white hair, reading glasses on a chain. He's been on the bench for 30 years. Seen everything. He reads through our evidence in silence. The 1962 survey. The exemption letter. The county records proving my dock is fully legal. His expression stays neutral, but I watch his eyes. They narrow when he reads Monica's lien amount. Her lead attorney stands. Expensive suit, slicked hair, voice like honey. Your Honor, while the plaintiff presents historical documents, exemptions can be revoked when community safety standards evolve. The HOA board has determined. Judge Reynolds cuts him off. Revoked? These exemptions are contractual agreements. Written, notarized, filed with the county. You can't unilaterally revoke legally binding contracts. The lawyer tries again. The accumulated violations justify $127,000 for a dock violation. Reynolds flips through pages. That's unconscionable, punitive, potentially fraudulent. He looks directly at Monica. Her face is stone. I'm granting the emergency injunction. The lien is suspended pending full evidentiary hearing. Bang. Gavel down. Monica's lawyers huddle. Whisper urgently. But it's over. Outside the courthouse, Monica corners me in the parking lot. Gets right in my face. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. 3 days after the courthouse victory, the newspaper runs the story. Front page. Above the fold. Bold headline. Local HOA president accused of property seizure scheme. Millions in suspicious land deals. The article is devastating. They published everything. The shell companies. The auction records. Monica's husband's LLCs. They even interviewed Dorothy, the 75-year-old widow who lost her family's 5-generation property for $12,000 in manufactured dues. My phone explodes. Neighbors I haven't spoken to in years are calling. Other HOA victims from across the county. A local TV station wants an interview. The state attorney general's office leaves a voicemail requesting I contact them immediately. But Monica's people are calling too. Anonymous calls at 2 a.m. Heavy breathing. Click. Dial tone. Cars idling outside my property after dark. Headlights in my windows. Engines revving. Then disappearing into the night. I'm being watched. Hunted. I upgrade security. Install motion sensors around the perimeter. New cameras with battery backup and cloud recording. I keep my shotgun loaded by the front door. Sleep in 2-hour shifts. Frank calls on day 4. His voice shakes. They came after me too. Bogus violation notice for my dock. But after that newspaper article, I'm not backing down. I'm fighting. Others are stepping forward. 17 property owners. A class action lawsuit is forming. David's coordinating everything. We're building an army. But Monica's not done. I come home one evening to find my dock damaged. Support posts sawed halfway through. Clean cuts. Deliberate sabotage. Another few days, and the whole structure would have collapsed into the lake. I photograph everything. Call the sheriff. Different deputy this time, Johnson. Younger. Actually seems to care. He examines the cuts. Runs his finger along the saw marks. This is felony property destruction, he says quietly. Criminal mischief with intent. Can you do anything? He looks at me. Something in his eyes. Warning, maybe pity. Look, off the record. Monica's connected. Her brother-in-law is the county commissioner. Her uncle's a state senator. You're poking a hornet's nest that goes higher than you think. So what do? Roll over? Let her steal everything my grandfather built. Johnson sighs. Heavy. Tired. Just watch your back. Install more cameras. Motion lights. Maybe stay somewhere else for a few nights. I'm not leaving. He nods like he expected that answer. Then be careful. People with this much to lose do desperate things. That night at 3 a.m., I hear it. My doorknob rattling. Slow. Deliberate. Someone testing if it's locked. I grab my shotgun. Pump it once. The sound echoes through the cabin like thunder. The rattling stops. Footsteps running. Fast. Crashing through underbrush. Breaking branches. Fading into mountain darkness. I turn on every light. Flood the property in brightness. Stand at my window until sunrise. Shotgun in my hands. Heart pounding against my ribs. This isn't about a dock anymore. This is about survival. Frank organizes a meeting at the community center. Word spreads fast. By the time I arrive, the parking lot is packed. 23 people inside. Some I recognize. Others are strangers. But we all share the same haunted look. People who've been targeted, violated, pushed to the edge. Frank calls the meeting to order. We all know why we're here. Monica Bradshaw has been weaponizing the HOA to steal our properties. Some of us lost everything. Others are still fighting. But we're not alone anymore. A woman stands in the back. Tiny, maybe 75, silver hair, but her voice cuts like steel. My name is Dorothy. Monica seized my husband's property 2 months after he died. I was grieving. Couldn't think straight. Didn't understand the legal notices. Her hands shake, but she doesn't sit. They auctioned our family land, 5 generations, 120 years, for $12,000 in manufactured back dues. I've been living with my daughter in a basement apartment ever since. The room goes silent. Heavy. You could hear hearts breaking. I want justice, Dorothy says. Not for me. For my husband. For my grandchildren who'll never know that land. Others start sharing. Man in his 60s lost a waterfront lot his parents bought in 1971. Woman in her 40s lost her retirement cabin. Each story is the same. Targeted violations, crushing penalties, impossible deadlines, rigged auctions. David stands, spreads documents across a table. We're filing a class action lawsuit. Fraud, racketeering, abuse of process. We're requesting a full forensic audit of HOA finances. And I've contacted the State Attorney General's office. They've opened a formal investigation. Hope ripples through the room like electricity. But there's more, I say, standing. I pull out copies of the original HOA charter from 1978. Half the rules Monica's been enforcing were never properly voted on, never ratified by the membership according to the original bylaws. They're illegitimate. The entire enforcement regime is built on fraud. People lean forward, hungry for this information. And here's the real weapon, David adds. Monica took out a $2 million loan last year. Personal guarantee. Against projected HOA revenue increases. She's counting on seizing more properties to pay it back. She's not just corrupt, she's desperate. She needs your land to avoid bankruptcy. The room explodes with angry voices. Questions. Outrage. Frank bangs the table for order. So what's our move? David smiles. Cold. Determined. We fight back. Together. We file complaints with every agency, county, state, federal. We talk to every media outlet. We expose everything. And we make sure Monica Bradshaw never steals another inch of property from anyone ever again. That night, I sleep better than I have in weeks. Not because the danger's over, but because I'm not fighting alone anymore. We're an army now, and we're coming for Monica. Saturday morning. Sunrise paints the mountains gold and crimson. I'm on my dock with fresh coffee, watching mist rise off the lake like spirits. Then I hear engines. 2 boats cutting across the water. Fast. Aggressive. White wakes churning behind them. HOA logos on the sides. And standing in the lead boat. Monica. She's wearing a blush pink pantsuit. Hair perfect. Makeup flawless. Like she's going to wear dressed for a country club luncheon. She's holding a megaphone. Her voice booms across the lake, shattering the morning peace. You are illegally occupying disputed property. Vacate immediately, or we will remove you by force. Behind her boat, I see cameras. Professional equipment. She's recording this. Staging it. Making me look like the villain. But I'm recording too. Phone already streaming live to YouTube. 347 viewers and counting. The boats pull up to my dock. 6 men climb out. Not her usual enforcers. These guys are bigger, meaner, professional security contractors. Tactical boots. Radio earpieces. One carries bolt cutters. Another has a camera rig. They're going to destroy my dock right now, with me standing on it. Sir, step aside. The biggest one speaks. His hand rests on a taser holstered at his belt. This structure is being removed under HOA authority. I don't move. This is private property. You're trespassing, and you're being recorded. I hold up my phone, screen facing them. Every person watching this live stream, 512 now, can see you threatening a property owner on his own land. Monica's smile falters. She didn't know about the live stream. The security guys look at each other, uncertain. This isn't what they signed up for. Ma'am, one says to Monica, if he's streaming. I don't care. Monica snaps. We have legal authority. Sheriff's on his way. Frank's voice calls from shore. I look up. My neighbors are lining the shoreline. Dozens of them. All holding phones. All recording. All watching. Monica's trapped. If she backs down, she looks weak. Loses authority. If she proceeds, it's assault on camera. Broadcast live. Permanent evidence. Her face cycles through emotions, rage, fear, calculation. The security contractors step back from my dock. Ma'am, we're not comfortable with this situation, their leader says. You're fired, Monica hisses. Already leaving, he replies. Sheriff Johnson arrives. 3 deputies with him. He walks past my dock straight to Monica's boat. Ma'am, I need you and your people to leave this property immediately. We're exercising HOA easement rights. No, ma'am. Judge Reynolds suspended all HOA enforcement actions on this property. You were served notice. You're in violation of a court order. And if you don't leave right now, I'm placing you under arrest for trespassing and contempt. Monica's face drains of color. Her boats retreat across the lake. The neighbors on shore erupt in cheers. I stand on my grandfather's dock. Victorious, but not finished yet. That afternoon, David calls. His voice is electric with excitement. The State Attorney General's office moved fast. They found evidence of 8 additional fraudulent auctions. Properties seized on manufactured violations, sold through Monica's shell companies, flipped for massive profits. And here's the kicker. Monica's husband tried to flee the country this morning. My breath catches. What? Airport security stopped him at departures. He had $400,000 in cash in his luggage, split between multiple bags, and a one-way ticket to the Cayman Islands. They detained him for FinCEN violations. Federal agents are involved now. Is it over? My voice barely works. Almost. The HOA board called an emergency meeting for tonight. A lot of board members claim they didn't know what Monica was doing. They're covering their asses. But they're voting to remove her as president. I sit down. Hard. My legs won't hold me anymore. That evening, the community center is packed. Over 200 residents. Standing room only. Cameras from 3 TV stations. The newspapers here. Even a reporter from the state capitol. Monica sits at the front table. Sand beige pantsuit. Her face is a mask trying not to crack. But I can see the cracks forming. Around her eyes. Her mouth. The facade crumbling. Mr. Wilson, the interim board president, retired teacher, 70s, kind eyes, reads the charges. His voice is steady but sad. Fraud. Embezzlement. Abuse of authority. Falsification of enforcement records. Criminal conspiracy. One by one, victims stand and tell their stories. Dorothy talks about losing her husband's land. Her voice breaks, but she doesn't stop. 5 generations. Gone. Because of her greed. Frank describes the harassment. The threats. The midnight vandalism. I present the evidence. The forged violations. The illegal auctions. The shell companies. The $8 million scheme. My voice is steady now. Clear. Strong. The room's energy shifts from anger to pure rage. People are shouting. Demanding justice. Monica tries to defend herself. Stands. Smooths her jacket. I was protecting property values. Enforcing community standards for everyone's benefit. You were stealing. Someone yells from the back. Others join in. The room erupts. Mr. Wilson bangs his gavel. Calls for order. Takes 5 minutes to restore calm. The vote is called. Remove Monica Bradshaw as HOA president. Unanimous. Except her own vote. Next motion. Full criminal referral to law enforcement. Every document. Every victim statement. Everything. Also unanimous. Monica grabs her purse. Stands. Walks toward the exit. Her heels click in the sudden silence. Everyone watches. Nobody speaks. At the door, she turns. Her eyes find mine across the crowded room. Pure hatred. Undiluted venom. She mouths 2 words. Not finished. Then she's gone. The room exhales. People start talking. Hugging. Crying. David squeezes my shoulder. You did it. But I know the truth. We did it. All of us. Together. The next week moves like a freight train. State investigators seize all HOA records. Filing cabinets. Hard drives. Email servers. Everything. They set up a command post in the community center. Agents in suits interviewing victims. Building the case. Monica and her husband are indicted on 23 federal counts. Fraud. Wire fraud. Racketeering. Money laundering. Conspiracy. The list goes on. Federal prosecutor calls it one of the most egregious HOA fraud schemes in state history. Bail is set at $500,000 each. They can't make it. The shell companies are frozen. Assets seized. The illegally auctioned properties, including Dorothy's family land, are being returned to their original owners through court order. Restitution is ordered. Every penny stolen must be repaid. The trial comes 6 months later. I sit in the courtroom gallery every single day. So do Frank, Dorothy, and 15 other victims. We want Monica to see us, to know we didn't break. The evidence is overwhelming. Financial records, email chains, recorded phone calls, testimony from her own enforcers who flipped for immunity. The shell company documents I found. Everything. Monica's lawyers try every defense. Claim she was following legal advice. Claim the board approved everything. Claim the property owners were actually in violation. Every argument crumbles under cross-examination. The jury deliberates for 4 hours. Guilty. All counts. Monica's face doesn't change. Frozen. Empty. Her husband slumps in his chair beside her. Sentencing comes 2 weeks later. Judge Maria Cortez, federal judge, no nonsense, reputation for harsh sentences in white-collar crime. She reads through victim impact statements. Dorothy's letter about losing her husband's legacy, Frank's testimony about the harassment, my statement about defending my grandfather's cabin. Judge Cortez looks at Monica. You violated the trust of an entire community. You weaponized your authority to steal from the people you were supposed to serve. You destroyed families, ruined lives, all for personal profit. The gavel comes down. Monica, 12 years federal prison, for $0.2 million in restitution. Her husband, 8 years, $3.7 million in restitution. Monica's led away in handcuffs. She doesn't look back. The courtroom erupts in applause. The judge doesn't stop it. Outside, Dorothy hugs me, tears streaming down her face. My grandchildren get their land back. Thank you. Thank you. I can't speak. Just hold her. The new HOA board, completely reformed, different people, different philosophy, votes to dissolve half of Monica's regulations. The enforcement regime is dismantled. Term limits are installed. Transparency rules. Monthly financial reports. No more secret votes. My property exemption is formally recognized. Recorded with the county. Carved in legal stone. Nobody will ever challenge my dock again. That evening I stand on my grandfather's dock. Watch the sun set over the mountains. The lake reflects fire and gold. Peace returns. Finally, 6 months after the trial, I'm sitting on my dock at sunrise. Coffee steaming in my hand. Watching mist rise off the lake like it has for 60 years. Like it will for 60 more. The water is mirror flat, reflecting pines and mountains and endless sky. This is the peace my grandfather built this place for, and I defended it with everything I had. Dorothy moved back into her family land last month. She called me crying happy tears. I planted my husband's favorite roses, she said, right where he always wanted them. My grandchildren helped me. That phone call made everything worth it. Frank's throwing a neighborhood barbecue this weekend. Says half the community's coming. People who were terrified of the HOA for years are finally living again. Breathing again. The HOA board reformed completely. New leadership. New mission. Actual community focus. Maintaining common areas. Organizing events. Helping neighbors. What an HOA is supposed to be. They even asked me to join the board. I declined. But I attend every meeting now. So do 50 other residents. We'll never let tyranny take root here again. My phone buzzes. Text message from someone 3 counties over. Saw your story online. Our HOA is doing the same thing. Targeting longtime owners, filing bogus liens. Can you help? Can you tell me how to fight back? I smile. Type back, yes. Let me send you some documents. And connect you with my lawyer. This is bigger than my dock now. Bigger than my property. This is about teaching people they don't have to surrender to corruption. They can fight. They can win. I stand and walk to the end of my dock. The morning sun breaks over the mountains, turning everything gold. My grandfather built this place with his own hands. Cut every board, drove every nail, poured his life into this refuge. When Monica tried to steal it, she didn't just threaten property. She threatened legacy, family, memory. But I defended it. With documents and determination and a loaded shotgun when necessary. And now it's safe. Forever. The lake is calm. The mountains stand eternal. And my family's land, all 200 feet of prime waterfront, every inch my grandfather loved, remains ours. Justice won. The little guy won. The community won. And somewhere, I like to think my grandfather is smiling. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Share it with anyone fighting their own battle against corruption. And drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I want to know how far this message of standing your ground travels. Let's build a community of people who refuse to back down. Because sometimes, defending what's right is the only option.